Greetings to all our beautiful listeners of the Empowerment Podcast. Welcome once again to the Empowerment Podcast. As you know that we are bringing you these special episodes where we are talking on mental health. And as we wrapped up last week on our first series of this great session that we are having, where we ended women's mental health, which was great. And thank you for the response. The response truly shows that you enjoyed the session. And thank you to all the ladies who are sharing the episode to all platforms and all groups. Continue to do so. We truly appreciate it. And yes, it's that time again. Today we're having the men's mental health, where we'll be talking with three gentlemen who will be sharing on this great topic of mental health. But this time we are looking at it from the men's perspective, where we'll be sharing on men's mental health. So as you know that we'll be having three guests as the poster was circulating, that we will be having Dr. Khayelihle Makhathini, Tulani Gumede, and Mr. Ratiba Mohale. So how this is going to unfold this time, we are going to have each guest having his own session where I'll be asking him all the questions alone, and they will get an opportunity to answer where they will be sharing alone separately. So we have an episode where we'll be having Dr. Khayelihle Makhathini, which is the one you're currently listening to, and we'll have another one we'll be having Tulani Gumede, and we'll have the last one which we will be having Mr. Ratiba Mohale. So as I said, that this one is the one where we're having the Dr. Khayelihle Makhathini, who is a neuroscientist, a researcher, a lecturer at the University of Western Cape, and also he holds 5 qualifications, including a PhD in physiology. Welcome, Dr. Khayelihle Makhathini.
Thank you, Mr. Lunga, for having me in your show or in your podcast. Also, I greet you and your listeners at home.
I hope I shared your profile correctly. There's nothing that I missed out.
No, you've counted everything.
Thank you so much for honoring us with your time. I'm definitely looking forward to have this conversation with you, especially since you are a neuroscientist. Maybe just for someone who does not know, a brief description or a brief summary of what is a neuroscientist, what do you do, and then we'll get to the conversation as planned.
Okay. The field of neuroscience, I know sometimes here it can be something that is not well known, but it's a big field. It basically we are dealing with the things that affect the brain, which is the brain we look at as an engine of the body, and we know that all the decisions are made in the brain, and
Sure.
if your brain is functioning well, automatically you are going to have issues. But for me, I started being interested in neuroscience at the honors level. Well, at the time I was doing my postgraduate degree. Then I saw that, wow, this is a good thing. I think it goes back. The time I was still a learner in high school, I wanted to do psychology, but I'm not doing psychology. But I find myself falling again back, dealing with the brain, which is it's one of the I think is the fascinating part of the body that we have.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, thank you so much for that description. I think everyone now gets the gist of why we called you for this conversation, because I think uh, one of the things that affect man mostly, we have this battle in our minds, due to social upbringing, due to a lot of things, the pressure, social pressure, and a lot of things that we have been taught as being the requirements for one to be a man. But we were going to talk more about that and go a little bit deep on it as we did with the ladies. So my first question to you will be, what is mental health and how is it affecting men?
Hey, yeah, it's a it's one of a deep question when it comes to mental health, because mental health is something that is been looked as a taboo. It's something that is when people they look at mental health, they forget that it's a form of a part in their body. For example, we have kidneys, we have heart, it's very easy for a person to say that when it comes to mental health, I think it is sometimes the way we describe it. For me, I describe mental health as it's when we understand our brain functionality in the simple way. It's about brain functionality. How is your brain functioning? Either you are a man or you are a woman. Therefore, whatever thing that it's going to interfere with your brain, automatically it's going to disturb its functionality. Therefore, we have things that influence the brain or the mental health. These three, I normally group them in three ways. It is an internal dialogue, that's the first part, and then we have the surrounding environment, and then we have the life experiences. All of these things contribute to your brain functionality. What maybe someone will ask himself or herself that what is about internal dialogue? How does it affect my brain? The internal dialogue, we talk about the effect of the human beings, then how things affect you as a human being. Then we talk about in terms of making good decisions and bad decisions. Then we talk about being content about yourself. Are you content about yourself as you are a human being in this planet Earth? Also, have you discovered who you are? Because these are the internal dialogues that they take place every day in our life. Therefore, we need to make decisions. I always say that life is about making decisions every day. We make a series of decisions, and there's a series of decisions that they shape our tomorrow. Then we talk about the surrounding environment. What are we talking about when we talk about the surrounding environment? People that are surrounding you, are those people supportive enough to you? Are those people supportive enough to whatever thing that you want to achieve in life? Then we talk about in terms of the society. How does the society influence your goals, your life, and everything? We talk about having enough energy to strive for success each and every day. Do you have energy? Do you have the source where you can go and draw energy if you feel that you are tired? I know that as human beings, we have different things that we believe on. Some are that they're Christian, some are they believe on sisters, some are that they believe different things. But it's up to a person, where do you believe that thing it must produce and able to help you to give you energy to strive each and every day. Then the last characteristics, which is life experience. Life experience, it contributes a lot when it comes to mental health or when it comes to your brain functionality. It's your upbringing, it contributes about 80% of your neuronal pathway formation. What do I mean when I'm saying this? Is that your upbringing is the one that shapes your future. It's the one that shapes what kind of man you are going to be when you are old. Therefore, these neural pathways, once we get older, then the brain, it's having archives. On these archives, each and every day, you must put something on it. We remember, we'll understand that when we sleep, the brain doesn't sleep. The brain is busy producing and taking everything, all the activities that you were doing during the day, and archiving it and putting it safely so that it can produce what we call its learning and memory. Then the other thing that I can say, the parental effects. You were raised by both of your parents, or you were raised by a single parent. The social effect that is associated with you, the relationship effects, and your career. Are you happy in your career? Because those things are the things that shape your mental health.
Wow, we just got schooled. Don't know if you realize that you've just answered even the second question with the first question, because my second question will be, how does the upbringing of a son or a child affects them mentally? And as we are talking on men's mental health, how are the system that we use to raise boys, is it working, or is it contributing to do more damage in man's mental health, in their mental state? As much as you've touched on it, I'd like you to dive a bit more on it.
I know. Um, 100%. 100, I can say 100%. Your upbringing, it's contribute, like as I've said, that it contribute 80% of your adult. Why? What does it mean if I say that? I say because when we are born, our brain, it's like it's empty. It's an organ, it is there, but it's empty. It has no pathways. There's something that we call it pathways in the brain. The brain, it works with pathways, okay? Therefore, I will make an example of when you are traveling where you are to the shops or to the mall. Okay. Then when you are traveling, first time when you are driving, going to the mall, you will use maybe a GPS.
Yeah.
Then the second time you said that, oh no, but I don't remember it well. Let me just put my GPS again. Then you put your GPS. Then the third time, when you're going to the mall, you will not need the GPS because the brain already formulated the pathway. Yeah. That means it is registered in your brain.
Okay.
And now you can just go to the mall without having anything to assist you to go to the mall. You just get in your car and then you drive there. Therefore, what I'm trying to say, I am trying to say that when we are growing, we copy what we see our parents do. We copy what we see the society do. We start to understand the responsibilities of men. If I'm a man, I need to behave like this. If I'm a man, I need to do 1, 2, and 3. If I'm a man, I need to protect. I need to provide. I need to do all of those things. I need to love. I need to do all of those things. Now, you can think that some people, when they grow up, then they don't have a privilege of having both parents together. It means that somehow it can affect your brain or your mental health, the way you perceive things when you are old. Then I always say that as I will go back to what I said in the beginning about these 3 characteristics. These 3 characteristics, they shape our performance as men or as human beings. Therefore, that means the more your brain is clouded with positivity and negativity, your brain will bring out the performance that influences your cognition, your perception, and your behavior. That means when you are growing up, your upbringing, it is very important because it shapes your cognition. What do I mean cognition? Cognition is referred to all cognitive processes that are involved in learning, in remembering, and using the knowledge that is acquired. We talk about perception. Perception are the ideas and the beliefs and the images you have as a result of how you have seen and understand something. It means that when you are growing up, these things automatically they get formulated. It's not something that you decide. Now I am formulating my cognition. No, it's something that is automatically got formulated, and then it will result in behavior. When we are talking about behavior, we are talking about the range of action that make the individual to act differently in a certain environment. Therefore, you can see that these things that I've mentioned, the cognition, perception, and behavior, these things are formulated when you are at an early age of your life. Then you will perceive things the way your parent raised you. You will look things the way the society that was around you help you to grow in life. Therefore, I can say that the upbringing, it contributes almost 80% of your mental health when you are older. When you're old.
Doctor, I hear you, but I'd like us to come to the state we're currently in, even as a country and as the world. Last week, I read to the ladies that I was with that the stats say about 400 million people worldwide are suffering from mental illnesses. And therefore, this then says this thing is huge, and not only is it huge, but it's serious. We are seeing the way people are behaving. We are seeing. Okay, let's talk about our country, not something far from us. In our country,
Please.
I even remember the thing that I sent you, that screenshot I sent you on WhatsApp. You know, so as a country, it does show that we are suffering. We are currently experiencing GBV. It's one of the hugest thing in the country that is happening, and men are suicidal. They are they are they are hopeless. In fact, I think we're at a stage where men don't even know what to do. Can
True.
can we then say the background that we had, also knowing it, we are coming from a stage where we've experienced apartheid and all of these things from the past, you know. But is there a cure? I guess that's where my question is coming to. Is there a cure to all of this? Because this is now becoming a chain, a series of events that is continuously happening. These cases are continually growing rather than stopping. Like who why does it happen that no one looks at it and says, this is wrong, this shouldn't be happening? Why is it continuing to happen as if it's a good thing rather than it stopping? What's happening in our minds? And the worst part is that as we're talking on men's mental health, men are the forefront victims, or are the forefront suspects rather, of these things that we're talking on. What's happening with us? Maybe that's where I'd also like to know. There are two questions. Is there a cure, and what's happening with us? Are we that damaged in our brains? Are we that damaged in our mental states? And if so, then is there a cure?
It's kind of a hard question to answer, but where I'm going to start is that the cure, yes, there is a cure, but the cure, it depends on individual. One of the things that, as I've been have some years doing research on the brain, is that we don't have something that we call bad brain or good brain. We have a brain. The brain you can shape to be what you want. We have something that they call its neuroplasticity, if maybe you ever heard of that word. Neuroplasticity, it means that it shape your brain by whatever thing that you do. For example, if I was a smoker or if I was drinking alcohol, yes, I have damaged my brain, but now I am recognizing that this thing that I was doing, it was bad. Okay. Then I start now to reduce my alcohol intake until it's time where I'm no longer taking alcohol. Then after that, the brain is going to shape, because previously the brain knows that I was taking alcohol and has already created some pathways on that now I need to reverse those pathways so that I can be a better person. That is the cure. The cure is based on the individual decision. Therefore, once a person sees that, you know what, the way I am living or the way I'm practicing life, it is not what I want. Therefore, it's easier. It's same this thing like when you are seeing somebody doing something wrong and then you go and tell that person. If that person is not recognizing that he's doing something wrong, you can speak to that person until, I don't know, but until the person recognize himself that what I'm doing, it is not it is not good. On that note, what you said, that South Africa and also in terms of the effects of the apartheid, yes, the neurogenetics, they are getting the traces of that because there are a lot of stress and depression effect that happened back in the days, and this thing it's been transported from generation to generation. And again, when it comes to, you just reminded me of the statistics of suicide in 2019.
Yeah.
Did you know that in 2019 alone, then we had about 13,774 cases
during COVID? During COVID?
Pardon?
During COVID?
No, 2019.
Oh, 2019. Okay.
2019. Then in South Africa, and then among those 13,774 cases, 10,800, it was men.
Yo.
2013, it was women. According to these reports, they are saying that South Africa has the third highest suicide rate of any African country. We are not talking about the gender-based violence. That is increasing every day. We are not talking about the substance abuse that are increasing every day. We are not talking about children in schools that are dropping out because of substance abuse. Therefore, at the moment, I think it's not something that a scientist or a psychiatrist or a psychologist or a therapist, whosoever, a neurologist, that they can say that this is the cure, because the cure, it is depend on individuals and also on the society. How can we shape our young ones to be better men for tomorrow? And at the moment, I'm not sure if we have already started, because we are still even seeing mental health as a taboo thing, as something. You know, when you start hearing people talk about mental health, it's when a celebrity or somebody that we know or that is famous committed suicide. Therefore, then that's where you will see everyone talking about mental health, talking about depression, talking about stress, talking about chronic stress, and talking about all of those kind of things. But once that thing subside down, everyone keep quiet. If like you've seen that, I think last year or the year before, then things that happened, then everyone was talking about mental health. But now, who is speaking about mental health?
No one.
No one. Because of what? Because these things, they happen at that. It's not that they're not happening in our community. They are happening every day. But sometimes we wait and see someone that is famous, and then we start talking about it.
Yeah.
That's a problem that we are having when it comes to the brain or to the brain functionality or to mental health.
Okay. So if we could have this conversation a bit more and make it normal to have such conversation, maybe the cure, or maybe coming to the decision, as you are saying, that it's up to an individual's decision to change or to get help. You are then saying it will be easier if that is how we do it, rather than having these conversations. I was just saying, even last week on the previous episode, that for some of us, it takes even the month of October, as we know that October in South Africa is regarded as a mental health awareness month, for us to even have these conversations. As you also stated, that it takes for a celebrity to suffer from it, then we are having these conversations. But if we are having them regularly and we make it a normal to have these conversations, it would be much easier.
Definitely, it will be much easier. People, they will understand. Remember how the breaking out of HIV, what did it do to our community? It was a taboo thing. It had a stigma. When the person is having HIV, everyone will think that, oh no, that means this person is been sleeping around. But now, people, they've fought for that, and now it's something that is normal. HIV now, a person can talk about it and HIV positive, but no one is going to say that, oh man, this one and whatsoever.
Yeah, even HIV activists.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a problem, that sometimes we have this month, and again, as we are just saying that the October, it was mental health month. What major thing that we have done in the country to promote it? A lot of people, they didn't even know that this October it's a mental health month.
True.
But when it comes to other things, we can see those things. If it's a month, if it's a women's month, I'm not comparing to this. I'm really sorry, but when the energy that people put together, so that these things, the voice, so that their voice can be heard in the community. Why are we not doing like that even on October? Which is, I still believe at the moment, it's a pandemic on its own when it comes to the thing of mental health.
And I think if we could promote mental health and talk about it a bit more, men can get a lot of help from that, because we know that men are taken to be people who are very within themselves. They are not that out with things, especially with things that pertain with hospital, doctors, clinic. They're not that much on those things. They just think you are dying if ever you visit the doctor or surgery or anything, or doing a regular checkup. It's mostly women who are for such things. Maybe what made that, because the question that I'm coming to next is the one that says, how can men be more emotional, as we know that men are taught to be, as I say, within themselves. They are not that open with their emotions, their mental states, what are they thinking, what is in their minds. And it's normal that whenever they have to share their emotions, maybe like cry, if the situation calls for that, a man would choose not to, because it was indoda ikhali, indoda iqinile, yabo. So aqina ndoda. Or, you know how can we get cure from even that? Because I think that also builds up the stress, the frustration, the pressure. And then, as you said earlier on, then the results, come out of that pressure that hasn't been released at due time.
Mm, mm. I think on already what you have said, you have already given us an answer about when it comes to men. We need to go back and look at how a boy is raised. And when you are a boy, you are taught that as a man don't cry. A man must provide. A man must protect.
Mm.
You don't. Some other people, they even go in the way that no, a man don't cook, a man don't clean the house. Yes, we
Yeah.
can clean and all things like that.
Yeah.
These are the standard of the society that they have put so that they can try to describe men.
Mm.
And people, while they were doing that, they didn't know that they were killing men.
Mm. Mm.
Because now, when you see yourself that, oh no, I cannot express my feelings because I would look like as a weak man, which is something that is wrong, because you are a human being. As a human being, you need to express your feelings. And when we look at women, they, even when it comes to their friend, they can be vulnerable to their friends, and friends, they come together and try to help that women. But to us as men, it's very hard to do that. It's very hard for a man to come to you and tell you that, hey, my brother, things are not going well.
Yeah.
I don't have money, or I don't have whatever. It takes time. Sometimes when you having friends, other male friends, what you do, it takes time. You need to be open-minded. You need your eyes to be open to see the changes. That no, I know you, but now you are reacting like this and that. What is happening? What is going on? And even there, a person is not even want to answer. A person is going astray, not giving you the direct answer, until sometimes it takes time for a man to be vulnerable to maybe to another man. Secondly, men, they don't believe in these things of therapists, which is women, they believe these things of therapists, that they're helping. And then a man will say that, I can't go and speak to a stranger.
Yes.
You see, all
Yeah.
of all of those things, how can I tell my problems to a stranger? Which is, for me, I think it's much easier to tell your problem to a stranger than telling your problem to your friend.
Okay.
Those are the things. I think the standard of society are the one that have shaped men of today.
Mm.
And as we are having this kind of conversation, it's something that we still need now to dissolve. That no, as a man, you can go to a therapist. As a man, you can go to a psychologist. And when we are going to a psychologist or to a psychiatrist, it doesn't mean that you are mad, because there's another thing.
Mm.
People, they are reserved with mental health because they fear and of a stigma that when I go to psychologist, it means that I'm schizophrenic. It means that there are things that are not going well in my brain. And when other people sees me going there, they will think less of me, which is that it is totally wrong. It's not true. That's a problem that we have, is that, and then men, they end up sitting in this coconut, not wanting to express themselves. I'm not saying that as men we need to go anywhere and cry, but understand the close people that you can go to them. That's why it's very important to have that 1 or 2 or 3 friends that are close to you, that we are going to tell that, you know, my brother, things are not going well at the moment. I'm facing 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 5. How can I go out? How can I come out of this situation? Remember that somebody that is outside of your situation is looking situation at a different angle than the one that is inside the situation.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yes.
Maybe I know now I'm having a challenge, because you answer your questions in a very, it's a good way, but you're somehow answering it with the next question. It shows that we're talking to a doctor. But I'd like to know, how is it important for men to have a role model, or a father, to be specific?
It is very important to have the role model or a father. It can happen that you are born by a single, you are raised by a single parent, or you are raised by a man. For example, I was raised by 2 women, my mother and my grandmother. I never had a father figure in my life. Therefore, what they do, they raise you at their best. To be a man, but again, it always have inside of you. You always have that space of that. Oh no, I do not know how to be rebuked by a father. You know, women, they rebuke differently, and father rebuke differently. Secondly, I have not seen my father loving my mother. That means that I do not know that pattern.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because remember that when you are growing up, brain works with images. It works with what it sees.
True.
You know, when you see your parents loving each other, going to church, going to wherever they go, then you are seeing them, they are together, they are doing things together. That it formulates a pathway in your brain that when it comes to relationship, that the picture of relationship. Today we are seeing men that are raping in gender-based violence, all of those kind of things. It's because it's what the time they were growing up, is that what they saw their parent doing. If your parents were fighting in front of you, that's the image that they are planting. If you see your parents shouting each other, doing all of those kind, that's the image that they are planting to their kids. Therefore, as a man or as a boy growing up and then seeing your parent doing that, that's what you think is good. One of my friends is doing research of why men rape. You know, when you read that article, you cry. You just cry, because when these rape convicts that are in jail, because he did a study on them, and the one that already have been persecuted and all things like that. Then when they say that for them, one of them said that the time he was growing up, his mother and the father, they never had a time for each other. They were always like fighting. Then what he have in his mind is that when he sees a woman, he sees something to fight. Now you see that is a huge problem, because if we don't have a father figure or a role model or a father that can be a role model to you, therefore some of other things they will be lacking to you when you are growing up as a man. It's too much. I know. It's too much, because that's a thing. That's the main thing about the brain, is that a brain, it's not an organ that you shape it when you are old. The brain, you need to shape it while a person is growing up. Since the person is given birth, that's that's where it starts. Because even before the person even being born, there's something that we call prenatal stress. If the mother and the father, they are fighting, it affects the baby while it's still inside the womb.
Yeah.
Already when the baby is born in the stress, then it's going to exacerbate what we call it's the postnatal stress. Something that is happening again at the moment, because everyone is busy in life. You find that a mother will give birth to a baby, and then a mother will be rushing to go back to work. That we call it is what do we call it? It's a postnatal stress. Yes, the postnatal stress, because the baby is left alone there. And to think if that a baby can be stressed because of not seeing his or her mother close to the baby, then how much more if the father is not involved?
Thank you, Dr. Makhathini, for that wonderful answer. I think, wow, that was very powerful. And I think what you're talking on is that the importance of having a father figure or a role model is very huge. And I think now we are getting to the answer of why a lot of men are the way they are, because we all remember that we also have the stat that says in South Africa a lot of male sons or male young boys, rather, let me just put it like that, a lot of young boys are raised without their fathers. I remember there was even a time where it was said we're a fatherless generation, and now it then portrays why a lot of men are the way they are. They are lacking that image, as you said. They're lacking that image.
True.
Yes, you can come in, no problem.
It's true. No, one thing that I want to say is that, if you look at 80s until now, the birth rate has increased, and those birth rate are 60%, or let me say 50% of those birth rate are from teenagers. And those teenagers, you find that they gave birth, and then they want to go back to school. Who is raising those children? Then what we are seeing now, it's just that when we are tackling these kind of topics, we just look at the behavior, what is happening. We do not want to go back to the roots.
Okay.
As we are saying that in some of the articles said that we are fatherless generation, it's very true, because the fathers are not there. Those kids, they are raised by the grandmothers. And one was making a joke on TikTok. I think, I saw such a video, and someone was making a joke on TikTok. It's a joke, but it's not a joke. He was saying, now the grandmothers of this generation, they are at the age of 35. They are very far for pension, to receive pension.
Yeah.
That's how it is now. The way the teenage pregnancy, the effect that it causes to this new generation that we have now. This is the result that we are seeing.
Okay. This conversation, as it's moving like this, then pushes us to this question that I have that says, let us not only look at the negative then. We then have fathers who are trying their levels best to be there for their children. We have males who are playing father roles even to children that are not even theirs. But how is then the social pressure adding to them experiencing mental illnesses? Because there's even a Zulu saying, I even wrote it on the set of questions that I was sharing to the guest. It said, "Wishawe donzayo." And it is normal, it's perceived as normal. There are even trends that are being done which a man must do this, a man must do that, and if you check, all of these things are expected from a person who's present, not a person who's out there running away. And I'm just looking at the pressure that is being added to a person who's already trying their levels best to do. Some of them, they are trying to even raise children. They've never had fathers. So obviously they're doing something that they've never seen. How is the pressure to them, and how are they exposed to suffering from mental illnesses?
They're also susceptible to mental illnesses. Because remember that maybe you are coming from a family of 5 children, and you are the only one that is working from that family. It means that you need to look at your sister's kids, your other brother's kids, and all things like that. At the same time, you still need to provide for your family. You need to build the house, because your parents didn't build the house. Then you still need to also to build the house. You still need to do a lot of things. That means it becomes too much for you. As much as we are doing good, but it's becoming too much for you, which can end up taking you either to chronic stress or to depression. I know a lot of people that are depressed because of not that they've lived their life recklessly, but they've been living their life so that they can help other people or to help their families to be the better family. But as we are saying, it end up becoming you as a part that is exposed to this mental health. Because remember that as a man, you still have your own life. You still need to build your own family. As let's say you finish the university, then from the university now you're starting working. But now we need to know, like for some of us, we need to know that your first 5 years working, it's not belonging to you, but it's belonging to your family, because you need to correct all of these things that that your forefathers didn't correct it, and even maybe your father didn't correct it. Then you need to do it in that way. When you are looking on other race, pardon?
Even black tax.
Yes. Just kind of things like that, because I still believe we still need to provide for our families, but it must come out of love that we are doing it. I've seen a lot of people that are providing for their families, but you find that they don't even have kids. But they need to provide. A person needs maybe to send a certain amount of money while the month is not yet ended, and then the call comes from home. Oh no, we are running out of meat, we are running out of this, we are running out of that.
Yeah.
Some other people, they end up taking loans because they want to build at home, so that I can keep, so that I can pay the loan, but I know my family is having a good shelter. All things like that, those things, they affect men or people that are providers, that are providers to their family, and which is end up also delay your own progress in life. Because also you still need to have your own house, you still need to have, you still need to get married, you still need to have your own plan for your own life. Therefore, the pressure is on both sides. If either a person is not doing good, or a person is doing good, therefore you end up having those issues. That's why if you are a person that is working, make sure that you have a therapist that you can go and talk to. A man must have a therapist that you can go and talk to, that what, I'm going through 1.3.5.
Okay. Your thoughts. What makes a lot of men so angry? I think maybe you might agree with me on this one. I don't know, but a lot of men are angry. A lot of things. It could be their personal experiences, their upbringing, as we've touched on that a lot in this session. It could be the things they've went through, their experiences. But your observation, what makes a lot of men angry? Is it a mental thing or a decision thing that a man just has to decide something?
Remember, most of the time, the angry, it normally comes from heartbreak. If you have invested your time to something and then something, it doesn't goes the way you wanted it, therefore end up you having this heartbreak, and then you end up not now seeing that, oh no, man, I spent a lot of time. Moreover, men, they appreciate their time. And if you want to be a man, or if we are a friend to a man, therefore you must know that, understand one thing, that time to men, it's very precious to them. Therefore, they don't like someone else to misuse their time. That can create anger. Secondly, it is relationship. When you look at the relationship of our days, it's full of manipulation. Therefore, some men, they've been manipulated. Yes, some other men, they have manipulated other people.
True. Yeah, very true.
We will not deny that, And there are some men that have invested themselves that, what, in this relationship, I'm going to love this person. I'm going to do everything what it takes for this person. Then you find the person, once the person is right, is okay, then the person leaves that man. And do you know that the monster that person have created in that man? Do you think that man, when he meet again someone, will still invest himself that much? Of course not.
Yeah, true.
Relationships, I think relationships are the thing that has affected a lot, which is, we can see it, the number of divorce, it's escalating. People are getting married now, and then you hear in 3 months, 5 months, 1 year, they're divorcing. And amazing part now is that I've been coming across with cases of people that have married for 13 years, 15 years, but are divorcing now.
Exactly. Yeah.
You ask yourself, what is happening? Like, for 13 years, the whole 13 years. Like, really, guys, but at the end of the day, it's because I am not in their shoes.
True.
It's easier for us because we are not married, and then we still like saying that, oh no, we want to do this, we want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But the people that are there, that's another thing, is that I think, back in the days, I think I always hear people say that back to our roots. But there was one thing that I like about the old generation. They have something that we call imbizo. These male gatherings, and the fathers or the grandfathers of that time, they will call different groups of men and sit down with them and talk to them. That's what we call dodisa.
Yeah.
Then they will sit down with them and talk to them, which is, this thing is no longer practiced now. And where we see it mostly practiced, it's on women's side. When you look at how many women empowerment organizations
Yo, a lot.
A lot of them. How many men's empowerment organizations
Very few.
Very few. Even those that are there, when you look at them, when you get close to them, they're not functional.
Yes, they're not as consistent, sure. True.
Exactly, they're not consistent. Then you hear men that and so and when you look at women, I'm sorry, but when we look at, I'm not, it's very nice.
Yeah, it is.
I think now we need to be more serious, because when you look at women empowerment organizations, Hey, when you look at even the speakers that are there, it's like as a man, as you are, you want to attend.
Sure.
You see,
Sure.
I think it because for them they've been oppressed or suppressed for a quite long time. Now
Very
they
true.
are raising, they are getting the opportunity, they're doing all of these things. I'm
Very
sorry to
true.
compare men and women, but I am just bringing this to whosoever that will be listening this
Yeah.
maybe can start something, because like we really need a men's movement. The men's movement that is not be restoring the ego of men, because sometimes men, they have ego. That's a problem again. And this masculinity toxicity that sometimes we normally have, because now we want to be respected. We want to, yes, we want to be respected, but the respect is earned.
True. Yeah.
In order a person to respect you, you need to do something that will make people respect you. And I fully understand it's not everyone going to respect you on whatever thing that you're doing, but do your best to present yourself that, you know, that's who I am and that's what I believe on and that's what I do. The men of today, they don't have vision.
Hey. Yeah.
You know, we are just growing up. We don't have, if you can ask a person that, what is your 5 year, what is your 3-year plan? What is your 5 year, what is your 10 years plan? A person doesn't know anything about that, you know. Then when we look at the other side, for women, they have planned.
Yeah.
They have all of these things that they have. It because of what? It because of that there is more women empowerment than men empowerment. Men empowerment is like, I don't know, guys, where we are. But yeah.
You know, as you're saying that, someone said something, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that thing really resonated with me, and it made a lot of sense that there's danger in empowering women too much and expect the same woman to live with a man that has never been empowered at any point of his
Exactly.
life, because what that creates, it's a huge bomb, you know, because this man won't know how to handle this woman that has been empowered, equipped, you know, that is ready to conquer the world, ready to win, and it will be easy for this man to be, as you said, to have that ego, and again, with something we touched on earlier, to be aggressive and violent, because they don't know how to handle
Oh.
this woman who's striving and victorious, you know, and who, because we as men sometimes are easily intimidated when it comes to a woman who's strong, bold, you know, you know, and I think that creates also a bit of a mental issue to a man whenever they feel that their woman is a bit more powerful than them.
They feel insecure.
Exactly.
And being insecure, it have a lot to do with your brain functioning. Yes, it have a lot to do with your brain functioning. It's affected you, a lot of people being insecure, not being content. Remember the time we started, this internal dialogue that
Yeah,
happened
yeah,
to
yeah.
us as men in our head is that, oh no, man, this women now, she want to do 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 5. She doesn't know that I'm a man, you know. That's exactly. You see, we want this thing of being a man, we want to impose to people, or we want to impose to other people. And being a man, you are just a human being. Do your work, people will respect you with what you're doing. That's how the respect is earned. It's earned by what you are doing in life. And then people will start recognizing you, people will start seeing you, wow, so and so is doing well. How is he doing this thing? People will come, they'll draw closer to you. How we saw you achieving 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 5. How did you achieve it? You know, for me, I always say that, because most of the time they're saying that, as you have touched on that, you know, we sometimes men will always say, oh no, women, they have more opportunities and all things like that and whatsoever. But what are you doing with what you have in your hand? Sometimes to be successful, it doesn't need to be educated. It doesn't need to be to possess a highest qualification. But whatever thing that you do, if you can do at your best, I am telling you, you will be something else. It's just that as men, when we are doing things, when we are planning our life, we plan our life for survival. That's the thing.
Okay.
We are not planning our life for the future generation. Somebody must build a foundation in your family. Someone must build a foundation. Because now we tend to look at people that are coming from rich families and look at those people and some starting to hate those people. No, it's because those people, their forefathers, they've built the foundation, solid foundation. They came on the solid foundation. If you look at the guy that built KFC, you will be so shocked. That guy was just a chef, and then he had this spice. He created a spice, and then he wanted companies. He approached big companies to invest, and then those big companies said that, oh no, we don't know your spice, and then no one wanted to invest in the spice of this man, and then this man started roasting KFC with his spice. Guess what? Where he was selling whatever, the chicken, he was selling the chicken in the garage. That's where it started. But he had a vision of telling his family that, you know, I am old, but make sure that this spice, no one take out of your hand. If I am talking about that, we don't need to have big position or wanted to assuming position. With what you have, with the idea that you have, you can multiply that idea to be a million idea. And the guy continues selling KFC in the garage until he acquired some money, and then he went to other countries and opened. He went to US and opened a small restaurant where he was doing this. And then people started to see this type of spice that have been used in the chicken. Then they started people telling other people, and then things grow. And then the man passed away, but his family, they took over the
legacy. Yeah.
Yes. Do you see? It was built upon spice. Today, KFC is a franchise. When you want KFC, I think it's 1.5 to 2 million.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest franchise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
Yeah. So we as men need to be strategic and be intentional about what we want to do.
Definitely.
Okay. No,
if you're a man that is not strategic, then at the end of the day, how is your family going to survive? How your family is going to survive?
And I think that's a question all men need to ask themselves, because we have been given a great responsibility. I think I've once heard someone say men are born leaders, and if that's how we perceive us being a man being, then I think we have a great responsibility. I find things that we see as a blessing more of a responsibility than a blessing. I think it's secondary being a blessing, but the primary thing to it's a responsibility that we need to, because we have been made stewards. We are entrusted. It's an assignment, you know, that, and because we're a man and you believe that being a man is a leader, then you need to be responsible. And as you're putting it, that we need to be strategic and intentional and be visionaries and become builders. Similar as to the first man, if we all believe that the first man was Adam, he was given responsibilities and assignments to do on earth, and he was given an opportunity to be a visionary and an implementer, you know, to guide, take care, and to be and steward and manage the field. So I like what you're saying. I really like it. We have 2 questions remaining with you, and I'm truly enjoying this session you're having. My third question before we go to the last one will be: how does the pressure that comes with social media now add to the the mental illness or to the mental breakdown that we're having. This consistent, adrenaline that comes with socials. I remember, I don't know when our listener will be listening to this, but one of the days in October, WhatsApp shut down for like an hour or 30 minutes. And also other socials that are available, they went crazy. That adrenaline, that desperation and attachment to social, how is it for men? How is it breaking men, or how is it making, if it's even makes them? But how I think you now understand my question.
Yes. You know why I'm laughing? It because
Yeah.
yesterday I was watching the news,
Yeah.
and this WhatsApp session that they have now on the news. Then everyone was complaining about it, and the unfortunate part for me, I didn't even saw that there was a shutdown of WhatsApp,
Yeah.
because that time I just woke up and then prepare myself coming to work, and when I came to work, and then things were very busy, and then I didn't say anything,
Okay.
However, the people, the way they were so worried, it's like, wow, guys, but that thing, I think it shut down for 3 hours, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But like most of the people, like they were out of the world because now they cannot communicate with their loved ones, with other people. That it shows that how we've been consumed by social media. Anything that you overdo, it consumes you.
Yeah.
If there is the addiction that we have, we can think that substance abuse and alcohol and all kind of things, that they have the worst addiction. Social media has the worst addiction. Once you need, as a human being or as a man, you need to keep checking yourself. If there is something that now it's becoming hard to live without it, that is the red flag on its own, that, oh no, now I cannot live without a WhatsApp or whatsoever. And you ask yourself, I remember this thing, it happened again, I think last year,
Yes.
where WhatsApp was not working, I think for the whole night, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Afternoon. Yeah, it started from afternoon, then the whole night, and then everyone was people, they were angry and whatsoever. But you ask yourself that you have people that you have here in your place, you are staying with someone in the room. You are not considering that as an opportunity to now to have a good conversation. This generation, they can't do conversation without being not on their phones. While people, they're sitting in the table eating, they're on their phones. It shows that how the social media has consumed us. Then we think these people that are busy posting on social media are posting a good life. For example, I will make an example with me. I remember, because I arrived in Cape Town in 2020. And we know that Cape Town, it's one of the places where everyone that is his or her dream to come to visit and do all of those kind of things like that. And then one of my friends took me out on the breakfast. We went to eat breakfast next to the sea. We call it that place, it's V&A. And we took pictures. We are posting those pictures on social media. People, they were saying, oh, wow, we are just eating life, guys. Wow. I don't know how many inboxes that I got that day.
Soft life.
But guess what? How much was that thing? The coffee was 25 rand. The total thing, it was 50 rand. Wow. But there is somebody else that have saw these pictures and saw me doing this, and then they thought people that I'm eating life. There is no life that I'm eating.
And they're adding pressure on themselves.
You see? One of the things that I wish people, they can believe about social media, it's not real, it's hyper. It's a hyper that cause an unnecessary stress and unnecessary depression. Because, hey, I don't know, Lunga, if the word of God, if it says that don't be envy, with
Yeah.
your neighbor's things.
Yes, sir.
You know, that scripture, it's been proven and proven in my life. God has been improving that scripture in my life. I don't know how many times. There are people that I've looked on, and these people that was like, if I can be like so and so, if I can be like so and so, then I wake up that day, that so and so that I've been looking, that so and so is doing a lot of scamming other people.
Hey.
How? This person is driving this kind of car, driving G63, is driving this expensive, is staying on the most expensive environment, but the person was not even sleeping at night because people are looking, they are searching after him.
Yeah.
The thing is that these things that you see that are good and having flowers and all things like that, you do not know the foundation of it.
Yeah, very true.
That's a problem about social media. So social media is just a hyper that don't bring any result to you, but it will bring addiction, depression, and suicide.
Wow. It's been a great conversation, Doc. And I think our listeners have gained a lot from this conversation. And I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. But before I let you go, my final questions to you before you share your closing remarks. My final question will be: what will be practical steps men can take on a daily to practice a healthy to be on a healthy mental state?
There is one of the things that at the moment that I am busy with. I'm busy with neuro coaching, neuroscience coaching, and one of the things that I've learned there, and also it opened my eyes. You know, we are living in a busy life. We woke up, we want to achieve more. We are going to work, we come back, we are tired, we don't have the time of ourselves. And this course has made me I came up with one thing in that course. I came out with, we do not do enough self-introspection. We don't do meeting with our own life. You find that you want to be a businessman, you are going left, right, you are making meeting, you are making an appointment. When are you making an appointment with your life? How many times a week you make an appointment with your life? That's where it starts. It starts from there. Having a meeting with your life.
Okay.
And in that meeting, you must make sure that you are in a safe space, on a good environment. If I'm saying good environment, I'm talking about quiet environment. If you want to wake up in the morning and take a walk, walk up in the morning, take a walk, think. If you see that the mornings are the quiet time of your life, don't wake up and jump to your phone. Wake up, have a 30 minutes with yourself. That's the first thing that I've learned. And that I was not practicing, because I was telling the coach that was with me that, oh no, I'm feeling myself not achieving much and whatsoever. And a person just asked me how old I am. I told him, he said, count me the things that you've achieved. And I counted, he said, do you know how many people that have not even achieved their masters?
Yeah.
I started from there. I was like, I'm grateful. You know, the thing is that we do not count our blessing. And in order to count your blessing, you need to be in a space where you are having the meeting with yourself. That's the first part. That's the first part of healing. The second part of healing, there's something that we call brain fitness. As men, we are focusing on the muscle, this masculinity, because this masculinity energy, it can be toxic at the end of the day if it is not well managed.
Okay.
Therefore, we go to the gym, we want to have this bicep, we want to flag on it and whatsoever. But there's something that we call brain fitness. Can you use your both brain at the same time?
Okay.
There are exercises, they're out there on YouTube. You can use those exercises, tracking the bilateral brain fitness exercise. Just exercises that you can do it when you're sitting in the office, when you're sitting, when you're doing whatever thing. They're very simple, but they stimulate your brain to work both sides, because we know if you are a left person, it means that you are using your right brain most of the time. If I'm a right person, it means that I'm using my left brain most of the time.
Yeah.
Discover your brain ability. This is another thing. Brain fitness, you're discovering your brain ability. Then we're talking about managing stress. It's very important. Have the way that you can manage stress. Everyone is having his or her own way of managing stress. Then the other thing, sleeping. Make sure that you go to deep sleep. Most of the people, they don't go to deep sleep. If you don't go to deep sleep, you are prone to have a lot of problems on your mental health. You make sure that you sleep at least 6 hours to 7 hours, but in that 7 hours, 3 hours or 4 hours, it must be a deep sleep. If you are having issues on that, make sure that you look after it. Movement, exercise, it is very important. It is very important. We are talking about the attitude, maintaining the positive attitude every day, maintaining the positive attitude even when things are not going right. Find somebody to talk to. Book a therapy session. They even toll-free lines where you can call about depression, stress, and whatsoever. You speak with somebody, and then the person will help you. Food that we eat, it counts. Most of the time when we're talking about food, people, they're thinking that it's about going to an expensive restaurant and eating food. No, it's about eating natural food. Those are the things that nourish your brain. And once you start doing that, your brain, it functions differently. Even when we are sleeping, most of the time when people are sleeping, in their room is not dark enough. If it's not dark enough, then you're going to have a problem with sleeping patterns.
Yeah, wow, that was a lot, Doctor. And I think if our listeners could really put it to practice, they can definitely see change in their mental states, in their mental strength. And yeah, thank you so much for honoring this invite. I'd like to give you this 2 minute to share your closing remarks, and then we'll wrap it up. Thank you.
I have nothing much to say. I think we have covered a lot of things. But one thing that I can say is that life is not an easy way. Secondly, we don't have a manual for life. Everyone is having his or her own manual of life. However, take care of your brain. Understand that your brain, the stronger your brain, it is the stronger of your life. One of the things, your brain, it works by processing the words. And then the brain processes thousands and thousands of words every day. And those words, they form thoughts. And thoughts form dialogue. Dialogue form pathways. Then we see the behavioral results. That's all from me. I wish
Empowerment Podcast. Inspire, equip, and empower.
Take serious of your brain, because mental health, it will happen automatically. Take serious of your brain. Treat your brain like an ankle. You know, on an ankle, if a stone hit your ankle, then it gets swollen. Then no one tells you that you need to get a bandage to bandage it. Treat like that. If you can treat our brain like that, automatically the mental health will fall in place.
Thank you so much, Doc, for allowing us to have this great session with you. We've learned a lot, and I believe also our listeners will truly appreciate it. They've been definitely been inspired, equipped, and empowered, which is what we always aim as the Empowerment Podcast whenever we release episodes. It is to inspire, equip, and empower. And I believe that today we've definitely done that. Thank you to our listeners who have been tuned in. From the first episode where we had with the ladies, which was the women's mental health. If you haven't listened to it, you started with these ones. Definitely check it out. You will be blessed, I'm sure. The ladies released a lot on that episode, and yeah, we are still, as I said, we are recording it separately. We are having Dr. Makhathini on this one. We'll be having Mr. Rativa on the next, and we'll be having Mr. Tulani on our final one. So thank you so much, Doc, once again for your time. To Empowerment Podcast family, don't forget to purchase your Empowerment Podcast merchandise. It's now available for you to purchase, and yeah, let us rock it, guys. Let us rock it. Let us spread empowerment through clothing. Thank you so much. Be blessed. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Empowerment Podcast. Inspire, equip, and empower.